Well, alright, y'all. What do y'all think, man? Check it out. I think we're off to a really good start. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you're here. So we're going to pick right up where we left off on the last video. We got a 1966 Chevy truck sitting on a 1973 square body dually frame. So the cab and the frame didn't quite meet up. We had to make some adjustments to the floor. That's where we're going to pick up on today, get that all finished up. Once that's all finished, we're going to move on to something else. So I think the next video after this will actually be shortening the truck so that our short step side bed will actually fit on it. Oh man, in case you missed it, we actually took the step side bed and widened it out. You see there, we widened it out and made it to where it actually fits over these big old dually wheels. Pretty cool, huh? Well, I like it anyway. Hopefully you do too. So we're going to pick up where we left off, man. Let's get in here and do some more welding. So I've got my next piece already made up, ready to slide in here. Now I had somebody in the comment section ask me on the last video if I could show them how I made the pattern, you know, for this piece to slide into. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, this is one of the easiest ones I've ever done. Now normally I would use cardboard and trace it all out, make a pattern, then transfer that over to my metal and cut it all out. But in this particular case, literally all I had to do was just slide the metal right down in there and trace around it. I mean, yeah, it was pretty simple. You know, just slid me a piece of metal in there, took my marker, traced around this side, traced around this side. That gave me my top and my bottom, and then I was able to cut it out. And now we have a perfect piece. It fits in there real nice. We'll just get this all wedged back down in there. It fits nice and tight in there, so we can actually go hands-free once I get it right where it goes. Let's throw us a tack weld on here. I like to use my hammer to kind of push the metal together sometimes. Works a little better than trying to use your thumb. Pretty sure I mentioned this in previous videos, but yeah, you just want to kind of skip around, leave all your tacks kind of far apart at first, skip around until they're nice close together, and you want to keep going until this thing is welded solid. Yeah, you see there where they're kind of spaced out. Well, I'll keep going until they just get closer and closer and closer together. You don't want to leave this just spot welded in. I like to weld everything in solid. Just do it very slowly, skipping all around so you don't warp everything up. And once that's all welded in nice and solid, it'll be just as good as it was from the factory. It'll be just fine. We'll coat it with something so that it doesn't rust. We'll grind it, make it look nice and smooth. It'll be great. Well, there it is, all patched in over here on the passenger side. We'll need to finish up the driver's side, and then we can move on to welding up the back. You guys remember we need to finish up stitch welding all the way across the back of the cab, and then we could go and put our mounts back in for our tank and all of that. So still got a little more work to do. Once we're out of this cab, we can move on to something else. I'm gonna take my air chisel, I'm gonna turn it down on the lowest setting, and I'm going to run it through here, and it works really good for getting off all this, whatever this coating is, this sound deadening heat pad type deals that they put in from the factory. Stuff is kind of hard to scrape off, but this works pretty good. It's worth mentioning, you guys, on this thing right here, keep it down low. Don't raise it up. Get your angle up too high, man. You'll punch a hole right through that floor. Yeah, this old air hammer does not mess around. See if we can slide this into place without it falling and hitting the ground. I'm kind of doing this free-handed, no clamps or anything. It seems to be working out all right. Let's get us a tack. Well, it helps if you turn the weld rod. Don't you hate it when that happens? I got this in here perfect. If I let go of it, it's going to fall. Now I got to reach over here and try and turn the welder on. Damn it. Try this again. All right. About right there, I guess. Come on now. It's not a very good tack, but it'll do. Let's get one down here so I can let go of it. Okay, there we go. Typically the way I do this, once I got all my welds to where they're all about an inch apart, I go in and start filling in between them. I can usually, by the time they're about this close together, I can run a bead between each one of them without burning through. So this is typically how it goes, something like this. All right, see that? Short little 1-inch bead you could get away with as long as you got your heat and your wire, everything's set just right. You could go through and run your bead without burning through. If they were any further apart, let's say, you know, about 2 or 3 inches, by the time I got anywhere close to the end at all, we'd already blow a hole through it. So that's why I like to go about 1 inch apart and then start running beads. You see right here where we're just connecting the spot welds. That's all we're doing. Yeah, you see that? We're just connecting the spot welds, and we'll do that all the way through here. And typically I'll skip around just like I did when I did the spot welds. I'll jump over here now that we've done a few over here, and we'll work our way, and we'll do a few over here, and then we'll come back over here, we'll do a few over here. And the only reason we do that is just to kind of keep it cool instead of getting one area way too hot and then you get a big warped area. So I'm just going through dressing up my welds just a little bit. I don't get too carried away because you ain't going to see none of it anyway. We'll be putting sound deadening pads, spray-in bed liner, carpet All kinds of stuff's gonna go in here, so we don't even care what it looks like. I just wanted to kind of round the edges a little bit so that there's nothing sharp going on, so when we do put carpet down and stuff like that, we won't be getting excessive wear where it rolls over this edge, you know what I mean? But there you go. She stitched up down both sides, solidly welded, like I had mentioned earlier. It's the only way you're going to get real true strength out of it and make it like it was before we cut into it. All that's left is to weld across the back, and we'll throw our brackets back in, and then we'll find out if the tank fits back in the hole. It's going to be tight fit. It's going to be pretty close. It may not fit. I don't know. I've taken some measurements, and it seems like it's going to fit fine, but I don't know. We'll see. If not, we'll relocate it into the back of the truck or something like that. Not really big on having a gas tank behind the seat anyway. It's kind of old school, outdated. We will most likely end up relocating it to either in the back of the truck or under the floor of the back of the truck, something like that. But anyway, I am curious if it fits, because I would like to just throw it back in there for now and push that project on down the line while we take care of this little situation here. Yeah, that's right. Once we're done welding the back of the cab, we're going to jump out here and we're going to shorten this truck, y'all. Once and for all, we're going to make it all fit together finally. Let's get that old fuel tank strap out of the way. I was noticing down in the spot weld holes, those are where we drilled out those spot welds. You see the gap in there? Those two panels aren't quite squeezed together enough, so all we're going to do is add some little sheet metal screws. We'll suck those two together. Got to do this side too over here, and then we should be able to go to welding after that. Okay, so they're fitting together nice and tight now. That'll make for a much better weld when it comes time to plug those holes back up. Decided to go ahead and add one more over here on the driver's side while I was at it. Let's weld up the back of this right quick. Every once in a while, I'll come in here, a little bit of air. Kind of cool things off, and then we'll move over to the other side, weld a few welds over there, do the same thing. Yeah, let's do a little bit over on this other side now. You guys don't even be worrying about this old paint. Y'all remember, most of y'all know, this is spray paint. This whole paint job is spray paint. So just stuff we've been buying down at Walmart for a few bucks. We'll fix every bit of that. I mean, you know what? You won't see it anyway. You won't see it anyway. Once this is all pushed together, y'all know the deal. You get a little gap this big through there, you won't see none of that. Let me cool this down right quick. Let's get another weld over here, and then we'll move back over to the other side. So yeah, I'm going to jump over here to the driver's side, finish up some more of these welds. A little something going on here. Uneven playing field. We're going to have to kind of drive this piece down to match this piece. So what I've got is I got my dolly, this big chunk of metal here, and what I'll do is I'll hold it on the inside here, you know, like that, and then we will hammer on this side of it till we get these two pieces to level up with one another, you know what I mean? And then we can stitch them back together. So now I've switched it around, got my dolly on the outside. I'm holding it across both pieces now. Before I only had it on one side while I beat, I had my dolly on this side while I beat this side in. Now I've got them evened up there. We're going to tap against. Now you can see right here, they're both perfectly even now. So I'll take the dolly out of the way. See that? Both nice, even. So we could go in and we can either fill this with something or we could weld it shut. And I've got little pieces, little slivers laying around in the floor from where we cut the other pieces out. It's perfect for just filling that area in. And also with this being sheet metal, if you start trying to fill that gap up, by the time you get that all filled up, you're going to have this area very hot and it's going to be prone to warping on you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a little piece lined up here. Something like that. It's really easy just to cut this with a pair of wire cutters or something because it's such a small little piece. And we will get that tacked into place. I'm going to clean off a little paint around the edges first. Sometimes you'll have to sit and mess with this stuff to get it to fit just right, which is why it's always real tempting just to get in there and just weld it shut, but we're going to be patient. I don't want to warp up the back of the cab, and I don't want to be sitting in here welding for an hour on just one little spot. Man, I tell you what, I got that fitting good. Now if I could just get it to stay in there while I get a little tack on it, I'll be in business. Alright, there's our piece from the outside. Let's see if we can get a spot weld on it. Dang, got it on the first try. Look at that. So we're welding across the top now finally, and it's making a really cool effect over on the other side. You know what? I think I just ran out of gas. Sure enough. Dang it, always something. Man, I tell you what, every time you turn around, you're either running out of welding wire or gas or something. Oh, I'm glad you guys are watching these videos, hitting the thumbs up button, liking, sharing, all that good stuff, man, because you guys make this all possible. None of this stuff is cheap, and almost all of it costs just about twice as much as what it used to. This bottle I used to get for around 36 bucks, and they cost about 60 now. Kind of ridiculous, I know, and that's why before YouTube, all my projects were on hold, just sitting around waiting for that perfect moment when money would be right and all that, and that's why everything just sat around and sat around. It just never came together, but you guys are making it all possible, and I do appreciate that very much. Yeah, I forgot to even bring this up. We lost one, y'all. She lasted a long time, though. I got that back when they were 10 bucks at Harbor Freight. You remember that? You remember when you could get them for $10 at Harbor Freight? What are they, like 30 now? So we definitely got a lot of use out of it. I ain't complaining. It sucks it's going to cost 3 times as much to replace it, though. But that's just how it is now. What do you do, man? Back to the store we go. Alrighty, we're back. About 40-mile round trip, $54 later, and we are back in business. We'll be welding again in no time. There we go. Okay, now where was we? Oh yeah, this thing is making a really cool effect on the back wall as we're doing our welding, kind of burning up our paint a little bit. There's just something about that says Halloween. Kind of perfect timing. I can guarantee somebody's going to comment and say, "Yo, you should clear over that. That looks really cool." Man, that welds so much better when it actually has some shielding gas in it like it's supposed to. Don't forget to blow it off every once in a while. Remember, you're out here in the middle. It could get really wavy out here right quick, so. Try and keep it cool. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I think we'll jump over on that side and weld a little bit since we've been welding so much over here. Let's move over there. We're going to repeat that whole hammer and dolly trick that we did on the other side, even up our two panels, then we'll start stitching this up too, just like we did over there. Must have did a little better on my cutting on this side. I think we actually could stitch this up without a filler piece. Nice. So once you got the area welded, we'll just take the screw out and we'll weld the whole shit. One final screw. Alrighty, so this is officially welded up back here. I might do a little finish grinding. I still got to grind this side over here, and then those brackets have got to go back in regardless of whether we put the tank in or not. Those brackets still need to go in because they have the bolts that hold the rear cab mounts. I think that'll do it. That bracket ought to sit up against that wall just fine. So yeah, here's the bracket, goes in just like this in case you missed it on the last video. This is going to weld right up to the wall just like before, and then it's got the actual cab mount bolts that go right into here on both sides. And so anyway, well hell, I think I'm just about done with my welding for today, at least on this one anyway. I think I'm making an executive decision to just go ahead and leave that tank out. Here's the deal, man. These have got to go back in for it to sit on. And look, see how that's got that little rise in it? Can y'all see that? Well, I didn't account for that. I'm not gonna lie. I measured from here to here, all right, because that's how much room we have, and I didn't account for this little hump. So I kind of did myself in. Just that little bit is all it took, and that tank's not gonna fit. So I don't really care. I didn't really want to put it back in anyway. Maybe I subconsciously sabotaged myself. I don't really know. But I think I might have talked about this on another video. I want to put the tank down in here. I think that would work out pretty cool, having it in that little opening there versus having it behind the seat. I've got a tank that I think will fit right in this area, and it will be located underneath the bed floor, completely out of the way. Unlike this location here where it's in the way, you can't have speakers or nothing, and then you end up having to do stuff like this. Man, I hate that. I absolutely hate that that has a hole in it now. This door should not have speaker holes in it. They should be behind the seat where they belong. Well, whatever. Ain't nothing I can do about that. But anyway, how you guys liking the custom paint graphics? That's the real question. I gotta know, man. What do y'all think? How many of you custom guys remember taking like a torch and getting that black sooty flame and like putting it on your gas tank on your motorcycle and then clear coating over it? I miss stuff like that. How come nobody does stuff like that anymore? Yeah, it would create like a real cool smoky looking effect, and you know, it just depended on how you put it on there. But it would look really cool by the time you put the clear coat over the top of it. But no worries, we're gonna actually fix that and paint it and spot it in. You'll never know that that was ever there, so no worries. But for now, I think I'm gonna get on out of here. I think on the next video, we will most likely be fitting this bed, probably shortening this frame up. It's time to get this bed and everything exactly where it needs to be. I'm ready to see this thing the way it's actually going to be. You know, sitting down on the ground a little bit and shortened up and all that. It's gonna be short and fat and low. It's gonna look really cool, you guys. You're gonna love it, I promise you.